Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SoulShape Podcast, where we focus on your spiritual fitness, or what we like to call our energetic self-care. We're sisters and the co-founders of SoulShape, a quantum wellness app designed to make it easier and accessible to find healing practitioners in the energy healing world. We want to have soulful conversations about spirituality and wellness. And whether you're dabbling or taking a deep dive into energy healing, whether it's from oracles to shamans to life wellness coaches to intuitive guides to energy workers to nutritionists, I could go on and on. We just want to introduce modalities and healing practitioners to you one by one. So it's time to get into SoulShape, where your wellness starts within. My name is LJ Woodard, and this is my sister, Leslie Bennett. And Leslie, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about human design with Christina, the blonde priestess.
Woohoo! The blonde priestess. And it's I mean, the energy in the room instantly changes the minute you walk in.
That was for sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're
That's
a
cool.
beautiful
Thank
soul. Just a beautiful soul, beautiful presence. And so I'm going to tell people a little bit about Christina. This is like the dating game now. Meet Christina. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay. No, she is a priestess, a human
We like
design
to have
coach.
fun with everybody.
We have to have fun.
Who comes in the room?
We'll just start the podcast though, say I'm not available though.
Yes, she's taken. So there's that off the table.
Yeah.
But back to Christina. She is a priestess, a human design coach, and an astrological advisor, tarot reader, and spiritual consultant. To me, she is like a spiritual rock star. That's what I'm going to call you.
Thank you.
We most recently had the pleasure of participating in a full moon cacao ceremony. But first, we want to hear about the wisdom of human design and how to use it. So I don't know, Leslie, is there any particular question, or should we just have Christina tell us what human design is?
I think we should start with Christina telling us what human design is,
Okay.
because I'm like, for those that have never, this is a known modality. And so when I first heard about it, I'm like, human design? I'm designed as a woman. What the hell? So tell me more about human design, like for someone who would never have heard about that.
Yes, it's a beautiful, we call it like a baby of several different personality tests and spiritual systems. So astrology is a huge pillar. That's a foundation of human design. So a lot of people enter into human design, which was my story, through astrology. So it also involves the I Ching and the Kabbalah. So the I Ching
That's loaded, man.
Look at that, people.
It's loaded.
That's another podcast.
It totally is.
So what are we designing then?
We are looking at the makeup of you on an anatomical level. So there is a physiological approach to human design. So we can look at your diet, your routine, if you're a morning person, an evening person. And these are things that as you go further with your human design, they'll feel like confirmations, most likely, if you're in alignment. And then we also look at where in your body do you make decisions from? Where would you maybe be susceptible to taking on other people's energy? And then we also look at destiny, which is one of my favorite things with human design. And that's what a lot of my clients come to me for, is purpose. So what am I here to do? What are my natural gifts? How does my energy work, and how can I make an impact? So those are conversations I really love to have.
That's all really loaded too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
there's
my
so many
gosh.
layers.
Well, how do you read a human design? What do people need to give you?
You need your birth information, same as you would if you're getting an astrology reading. So the place, time, place, time, day, month, year. Yep. And then we input it into a program. I use Genetic Matrix, but there's so many other good apps and websites. And then it runs your entire chart and calculates what it looks like to be you. Another fun fact about human design is you actually get 2 birthdays with it. So you have your physical birth, which you provide a reader with, or me with, and then it calculates a birthday that's more of like a soul conception birthday. So it happens in that last trimester of your mom's pregnancy, and it's this impact moment where your soul comes into the fetus and programs your body.
Oh my goodness, that is so deep.
Yeah.
Rob, are you getting this? It's like,
He's like, can you do mine? Yeah, it's deep. And
so is that maybe your true birthday then? Your soul's birthday?
I will say it resonates deeply.
And that could affect your astrology, because then you're not
I'm
really
not
a
really
Gemini.
an Aquarius.
I'm a
really
Taurus.
a Capricorn or a Sag.
Yes. Yep. So your body, I'll use me as an example. My body says Pisces. It's my sun and moon at that soul conception birthday is Pisces. And so that's the shapeshifter, the dreamer, the channel, the metaphysically interested, and very shapeshifter energy. But then my personality is very Gemini. So I've got the Gemini and the Cancer moon, and it's very bubbly and bright and, wants to have a engaging, fun, upbeat conversation. But my body is kind of saying something different. So it gets very interesting when you start looking at what is my body saying to people and what is my personality saying to people.
I never knew that part of the human design. That's an eye-opener for me.
Well, you've had human design
I
before.
have. I'm trying, and I had it a long time ago, and I'm trying to remember. You get, it's not a label, but your
type.
Your type.
Yeah.
You get your type, and there's. Tell us about the types that you get.
Yeah. The types that's the biggest part of what makes you you. And there's 5 types. So there's a generator, manifesting generator. These are the 2 out of the 5 that are energy beings.
That's what I was. A manifest. Yeah.
Were you a Manny Gen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, me too.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Awesome.
meet the Manny Gen.
And you're probably in a Manny Gen sandwich right now.
Lucky me! So excited about that! What magic will be unfolded in this session?
There's a lot going on when manifesting generators are in the room.
Well, let the magic unfold.
Yes.
Okay, so other
types.
So those of us that aren't so lucky to be sandwiched by Manny Gen.
Yes. Yep.
Like on an airplane. I just picture, can you imagine you're on an airplane?
She's like, is there an open row? Can I move? Yeah.
I'm between 2 Manny Gens. Can I have a seat change?
Yeah. They're like, we understand.
I don't even know what I am, so
I know.
We could be a triple play.
We could be, but I have an idea you're something a little
I don't think I'm a Manny Gen.
No, I don't think so either. So the other 3 types are projector, manifestor, and reflector. And as we go in that order, they get rarer and rarer. So about 33% of the population are generators, 33% of the population are Manny Gens, and then projectors about 20%, manifestors about 11%, reflectors 1%. So they're very rare.
The manifestor is only 11?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very unique beings. Yeah. And you'll know, once you know more about the types, which I love to know all the types. Obviously, I come across many of them in my work, but I have a deep appreciation for each of our roles. And I think because of that, I'm able to express to the individual, you are special, you're here for a reason. As long as you can find your role and stay in it, if you don't get conditioned to be more like a generator because they're very attractive and bubbly and warm and welcoming to everyone, a manifestor's not like that. They're very particular. They're like a very certain cup of tea. So they actually have a very repelling aura. So I don't know. I feel like she could be a projector. Projectors are managers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they have this kind of... No? We need to run a chart here.
Yeah,
I need my laptop.
I don't think I'm a projector.
No? You feel more like so manifestor's a trailblazer. They're the ones that see the world very clearly and they're like, let's do it differently. Let's shake stuff up.
That's me.
Okay.
No, that's me.
Cool.
Because I've always had that. I've been a weird kid. When I was a kid, I was a weird kid to be talked to. Because I would be like...
I'm not doing this not weird, but mature. You were wise before your years.
Yeah, I've always
That's
had
a sweet
this
reframe.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's my sister.
Oh.
Yeah, she's just wise. She was already the adult. She was like...
Yeah, I was always a wise... people always thought I was older than I was.
Right.
And I could always put the pieces together and say, this is how it's supposed to work. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's more... when you said the archetypes, or whatever they're called, I was kind of thinking more reflector. But I don't mirror things to people. I'm more, I can see beyond.
Sure.
Even at the cacao ceremony, and we were talking about the monetary system, I'm like, that's old energy. And you're like, tell me more. And I'm like, you guys aren't ready.
You definitely, you had this energy of do we really have to talk about human things? And I'm like, yes, we do.
No.
We are still
I'm
human.
so afraid.
Yeah. I in the Gaia workshop this past weekend I went to, Michael Beckwith was talking about a seminar of descended master. It was powerful. So we are this illuminated being. We understand these concepts are much bigger, but then at the same time we have to descend to be a human, to express our humanity and to have a healthy relationship with our bodies and with each other's. So it was powerful to think about okay, so the next level after you ascend or you feel you've ascended or learned more, bring it down, bring it to your people, integrate it.
Illuminate for others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be the light.
We like that. All right. What else to human design that we need to know?
The blueprint of
I'm
our life.
intrigued right now because I'm like, oh, what am I? I need to know.
When you do get the chart, I mean, is it like a blueprint? Is it big? I mean, you actually get...
It's deep. Yeah, it's deep. It is. There are certain apps that'll break it down really, particularly Jenna Zoe. She's my teacher. And I studied under her in London, and she has a beautiful app. I think it's My Body Graph or My Body, something like that. But just Google Jenna Zoe, and her app breaks it down in a very digestible way. But the biggest things we talk about is your type, which we mentioned, your authority. So that's the place in your body you make decisions from, and there's a lot of options there.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then your profile. The profile is the archetype of your soul. So, for instance, mine is a 4-6. There's 12 of them. And the 4 is the opportunist, the networker, the friendliness, the smile, the warmth.
Totally see that.
And the 6 is the role model. So it's the teacher, the guide that lives, the first part, any role model lives the first part of their life experimenting. So trying things, bumping into things, messing up, doing well, and then alchemizing it into wisdom. So the profiles get really juicy, and then we can keep going into where do I have openness in my body? Does that means I take you on in my body? So bringing awareness to, okay, you can influence me in my head if I don't maintain myself, or condition me into being fearful when I don't run off fear. I run off maybe my intuition. So there's a lot of layers, and it goes deep. So if you're someone who really loves to investigate and just go to town on understanding yourself or others, human design will be a well for you.
Our mom was really into, do you remember, I don't even know, Linda Goodman was like the big astrology book.
From the 70s.
From the 70s.
1970.
I think I still have the original one. It's like after our parents passed, it's like, I'm taking this.
Kids.
It's like,
that's awesome.
It was kind of cool because it told your sign what you, if you were an Aquarian man, Aquarian woman, Aquarian child, Aquarian boss, Aquarian employee, Aquarian woman.
My mom had us according to her story.
Really? She says
that's her story.
She says she had us she goes, I'm a Sag and I want to have signs that
compatible with me.
She did well.
And so
Gemini,
so she had an Aquarian, she had her Gemini, and she had her brother on her birth date.
Oh. Our brother is born on her birthday.
Wow.
And I used to tell that story to my friends, and they're like, they would just feel so creeped out. Like, you mean to tell me your parents were like, hey, Carl, let's get into bed so we can have an Aquarius? I mean, no. I don't think that ever happened, but
now it would totally happen. I mean, you know how they say around Valentine's Day, they're like, y'all be careful, you make a Scorpio if you mess around.
I mean,
seriously,
I don't know how planned out it was, but that's what the plan was.
Well, I'm sure she didn't tell Carl. She didn't tell her dad.
Who needs to tell a man, right?
She might have just put on.
Come on, let's go to bed.
Hey, honey.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah. that might have killed the mood if he's like, let's make a Gemini.
Because he was a Virgo.
Ah, okay.
So
okay.
That was a challenge our whole lives.
Wow.
He's a wonderful, wonderful man, father, husband, all that stuff. But Virgos are very kind. But Virgo, I hope, is TK Virgo? Anyway,
we might have a Virgo in the room.
Anyways,
that's running the show.
We love our Virgos. Absolutely.
Yes,
we need the Virgos. But that was an adjective in our house. Stop Virgoing me, because they they fix you and stuff. And so, anyways,
they can be hard on themselves.
So the human design, when you talk about that, it just brings to my mind thinking like, oh, maybe I should do this for my whole family so we can understand each other.
Yeah, parenting with human design is a huge expression, a healthy expression of human design for sure. Imagine growing up in a household where they understood you're a projector, so you need to be invited to be a part of things, or that you're a projector and you need alone time. It's okay for you to not be in the thick of the tribe all the time, or a non-energy type. It's okay if they need naps and a lot of snacks. I mean, naps and snacks. That's what we say. And even for manifestors as well, because us energy beings, we could go all day without eating if we're doing what we love. Mm-hmm. And so could other types, but it wouldn't affect us the next day. Whereas for them, they'd be like, okay, I'm replenishing today.
It's like that Snickers commercial.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's so true. All right. It's so funny because there's so sometimes
there's
I think there's
avenues.
two type of kids. Are you the one that puts your foot in the water to check the temperature are the ones that just like jump in, you know? And it's like,
yeah, it's that. And so with human design, when we run your chart, you know, a lot of it may resonate, but a lot of it may feel very foreign. And you're like, whoa, that's me? That's the expression of my soul, my body. And that's where we start bumping up again against conditioning. So maybe you were raised by a projector with a mental authority and they said, think it through. You know, think it through, be thoughtful, weigh your options, pros and cons list. But let's say I run your chart and you're a completely intuitive being. The decisions you make are meant to make no sense. They just feel good. So, so that could be challenging when you're like, wait, what? My whole life I've lived this way because that's how my guide, my parent or my teacher or my coach showed me. So I think we can help a lot of misconditioning, you know, when we know what our child responds to, know what they need, and then parent them that way. So even with a client, if I have a client and I know that they're a sacral authority, so they need direct yes, no questions, I hit them with that. Instead of if I have an emotional authority, I say, how do you feel about this? You know, like where are you at on your emotional kind of scale with this decision? And that feels good for them. So you can learn to communicate with each other better. And I think that's
I just had
This goes way beyond, you know, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Way
Much
beyond.
deeper.
Yeah. No, I just started having, when you were talking, having this vision in my head if everyone was walking around with T-shirts that said, I'm a manifesting or I'm a generator. I don't know how that would just be weird. I know, but like I was just having this weird vision.
Sometimes people do. You'll see little bumper stickers and stuff, and they'll be like, get out of my way. I'm like, that could be a manifester. You know, you ever seen those bumper very
They're not, yeah, right. Yeah.
Don't tread on me, whatever. That's
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That is so funny. Human design, so how did you get into it?
So I lived in LA for about 6 years. I moved back in 2020 to North Carolina, and I had a girlfriend who I was sharing astrology with. She was a client of mine originally, and then we became friends because we just moved in the same circle so much. And she's like, I really think you should look at human design. And this was on the fringe when it was just first kind of coming on our radar. And I was like, no, astrology is my jam. I don't need to complicate things. Because when I ran the chart, the human design chart, I was like, holy cow, this is more information than I could ever process. And so then another nibble came up a little bit later on when my partner and I were going to meet for the first time in London. And one of the at the time, and still is, one of the greatest teachers of human design, Jenna Zoe, was doing a workshop in the exact town that we were going to meet in. And so I went to my girlfriend and I said, this human design thing won't go away.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like,
Synchronicity.
Totally. And I said, the only problem is, you know, the course was thousands of dollars. Staying longer at that trip was going to be expensive. And I was like, how am I going to work this? And she said something so brilliant. I'm so grateful for her. She said, pre-sell the readings. Pre-sell them to your clients. You've got a huge client base of astrology and tarot, and say, this is the next thing. I'm going to go study it, and I'll do my very best, but you're going to kind of be my guinea pigs. When I come back, I'm going to be experimenting and using the system to help you. So I ended up pre-selling about 60 readings. No joke, half off. It funded the trip fourfold. So
I love that.
It was brilliant. And I'm so grateful for all my clients that had faith in me. They knew they resonated with me and they were curious about human design. They're like, well, if anyone can teach us, hopefully she can.
Yeah.
And I came back to about 60 readings, just back to back to back, and got so much practical knowledge from Jenna in London, and then experience of just seeing it manifested in humans. And since then, it's just been a deep passion of mine. I love to take an astrology conversation to human design now because it will change your life in an hour, guaranteed. Whereas astrology I could say, oh, I'm a Pisces sun and moon, or, you know, and you're
and
like,
isn't that just fun? You know, it's like cocktail conversation now, right?
And you're like, oh, I'm a Pisces too. And then, you know, what are we going to do with it?
Yeah.
So.
The conversation kind of ends.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not dating you.
Usually, we're not compatible. See you later.
Yeah.
Is human design, it's just a one-time reading, or is it something you go back to? Like,
I honestly have clients where we're on like session 20. Oh. So and I usually like to space that out. So maybe they'll come to me for a while, once a week, because I think what's really important with human design is learn a little bit, you know, digest a little bit in, and then go experiment with it. And then you come back to your reader and you can workshop some things and go the next layer. And then I have other clients who are like, no, I want 2 hours with you. Let's do a deep dive. And I'll do that too. But it's a deep study. Yeah. If you're getting readings and that's the only way you're learning and not doing any self-exploration, it would take a very long time to learn. Yeah.
Human design.
Yeah.
I really like the idea that you pre-sell because then, I've gone to workshops. I think it was a brilliant move. I mean, obviously, what a great way to fund it. And the universe does provide when you're you're totally lined up.
Yeah.
We all get that. But I think what's really cool, when you go to a workshop, right, you go spend the money, and then you come home and you don't necessarily get an opportunity to integrate it in practice.
Yep.
And you already had, like, I can learn it and I can do it, like, right when it's fresh and not have to find the clients to go and do that.
Totally.
So I was just like, wow, that was
brilliant.
That was a double gift.
It was. Thank you. I agree. It worked out so perfectly. And according to my design, all I had to do was respond. She presented me with the idea. I had the problem. She had a solution. And I just had to, literally all I did was offer it to my clients. And the response was overwhelming. I mean, I thought I'd do like 10 or 20. But I literally had like 60 people.
That's so amazing. I got warm fuzzies.
Yeah. Same.
All right. What do you got, Laura?
Well, I think it's something we need to bring up because when you came into town, I was like, oh, let's do some fun spiritual things. And there's a full moon. That strawberry moon was out a few weekends ago during my birthday, June 2nd. And Gemini. And
send me flowers.
And I was like, I want to do something fun. I go, you got to meet the blonde priestess. And so you do the cacao ceremony. Let's talk about, am I saying it right? Cacao.
You are.
Cacao.
Yeah, cacao. Talk
about cacao.
I know, I always play with it. It's so fun to say. Like, if you're listening, just say it. Cacao. It is a beautiful, beautiful medicine. I hope you guys felt how much love I have for that medicine being in that circle. Mm-hmm. It's very special, very sacred, and it's been around for many, many centuries, passed through different hands and different cultures. And it does grow very close to the equator. So the cacao that I use is Quis cacao, and it comes from Guatemala. And they also did a beautiful training with us to really help us respect the medicine, help us express it in our own way, through our own voice and in whatever way we wanted to, and trained us on the actual nutritional benefits of the plant. Mm-hmm. So it's something I work with daily. I had a big old cup of cacao before I came in, and
we can tell.
We should have told. You should have.
You want me to bring some?
I know. I should have.
I know. Because we have a cacao.
Darn. Okay. Well, rain check. Rain check. It's a beautiful heart medicine, is what we call it. A feminine mother medicine. It is not a psychoactive, it's not going to cause a psychedelic trip that you can't control, similar to like mushrooms or even cannabis. It's going to take you somewhere, and you have very little say. Cacao, you are completely still the driver, but it gives you some more information, especially with what is behind your heart. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really powerful as we get together in the salt caves in town. And I even do private ceremonies at people's houses, like for their birthdays or for, I've even done a bachelorette party, and we just did it. They just wanted a spiritual one. They didn't want to go out and get drunk. They wanted to go out and get into their soul.
Good for them. It's probably better.
It was awesome. Yeah. I was super honored. Yeah, less trouble and more intentional.
More real.
Let's stay present.
I think one of the things I learned after my husband died is that, there was aspects I didn't really know about them, and maybe I wasn't supposed to, but, I think, but I was his best friend and he was mine. I'm like, there was stuff I wasn't sharing with him either. And I'm like, and so since his death, I'm like, if you're going to know me, bloody know me. And if you're going to see my ups and downs, so I'd rather have a cacao ceremony where we're sharing something together that's more meaningful, more real, more deep, because we're here to make connections, right? We're not necessarily meant to go barf in the toilet bowl and go, what the hell was I supposed to do? Why did I make those choices? You know?
I mean, that circle, so the drink, you explain it, and we go through this. It's very ceremonial, and it's cool. All of a sudden, you do feel like you're part of like the craft a little bit. It's like, I know, I'm sorry, I'm so theatrical, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like,
No, I
we're
love
all drinking
aesthetics.
it. What is it, like blood sisters? But not really. No one's getting hurt. But the point is, it's like
this is a cult. No, I'm kidding.
So we're drinking it, and Christina's saying beautiful things and explaining it, and then you do feel this. You do feel it go down, like bit by bit by bit. And it's not like it's not drugs, but it's just like it's just so, I don't know, lovely.
I actually thought it was like poetry in motion.
Oh, Leslie.
I really did. Like I was experiencing if poetry could be like in the space and the way you just sort of there was such a love for the space, the way you had the altar all beautiful, the way you set everything up, the way the words you spoke. I really felt as if I was, if poetry could be 3D or 5D or whatever, quantum, I felt like I was in a poetry experience. It was really quite beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
And you just
Thank you
get
for
all
saying
these
that.
people, most of them strangers. Yeah. And we're sharing and
intimate things sometimes.
It was really cool.
It's really beautiful. Thank you for that reflection. It's such an intentional space. I mean, every seat in there is prayed over before you walk in. And I really mean that. It's blessed, it's saged, and I pray for whatever you need from those 2 hours we have together that you receive it. And then when then you put your own intention in your cacao cup. And even when I work with it daily now, I do that. I'm like, thank you. And the frequency that I vibrate at now working with cacao, and it's kind of push coffee out. So if you're a coffee lover and you start working with cacao, beware, because she definitely takes the throne of your life.
Did you hear that, Rob? We love our coffee. I do love my coffee.
My partner loves his coffee too, and he doesn't work with cacao as much as I do. The male frequency resonates a little better with coffee. I found, this is just my personal observation, but the coffee is a very masculine plant. It's like, let's go. We're running behind. We've got things to do.
Yeah. That is me. I'm very masculine in that way.
So the cacao doesn't get rid of that. It just grounds you into, yes, we've got a lot to do today and we will accomplish it all. And if we don't, it's okay. Let's move from a space of intention, not rush, adrenal pressure. So it's really brought up another layer of femininity out in me. And I'm so grateful for that. Yeah.
It's delicious.
It's delicious too.
It's yummy.
It's so good.
I know. I kind of wanted to be a little greedy and have a second. I know
You can have more.
I know. We can have more, but I was kind of like, when I never had it before, I was like, I didn't know what it was going to do. So I was like, I'm just going to have a cup. I didn't want to be like overzealous. Like, so.
We always make a little extra
for my sensitive
offer.
tummy or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just so lovely to have the conversations and the sharing, and then, the space there at the Prana Salt Cave was wonderful to go into a cave and have a meditation. Yeah. Right next to my sister, or just lying in the
Y'all
salt.
were so gorgeous.
It was so lovely.
So then when we go, we have a sharing circle, and I speak about the astrology, usually briefly, because then other conversations blossom, and then we go meditate in the salt cave, and cacao really gives you access to more visuals. You're literally getting more blood to the brain because of the theobromine in the cacao. Even the theobromine, that word, it's food of the gods. So it's super sacred. It's amazing we have access to it. Yeah.
I did have some third eye visions, but I can't remember them now. So
yeah.
Oh, you're so lucky you had a third eye vision.
I do. I get third eye visions. Did you not know that?
I've gotten some before too, but it's like they're very rare. So I'm like, I'm just like going, wow, you got one. I want.
No, Oh, you were a little jelly.
A little jelly. That's what it was. I mean, I can get really woo woo. I mean, when I've had what do you mean a vision? Like, what do you see?
So for me, I actually see pictures.
Okay.
And they've started, and not necessarily at your thing.
Yeah.
But it's been happening over a number of years. I get little movies, but they're super tiny right now, and I've been working to expand them, intentionally.
Beautiful.
And they grew for a little bit, and now they're back to tiny. Okay. But I see things moving. It looks like I'm peering into I guess the old. Have you ever seen an old movie where they
sepia?
So it looks like that.
Sepia tone.
Sometimes there's a little bit of color, and they're in the gold tones.
Yeah.
So that's what I see in my third eye. Like I can see stuff.
Beautiful.
But I just don't know what I'm seeing. And sometimes I can see more details, and other times it's just little tiny people moving around in this what would be a size of a quarter.
Now,
maybe
I'm just
even
curious,
a nickel.
what you see in there, because because it's third eye, and maybe that's why I'm thinking of the eye, but it was very distinct, and it only happened one time because it was really strong and it was really powerful. And it was at some workshop I did with you, and Dad was with us too. It was the Akashic record thing we did.
Ooh.
And
was that the one where the girl went around and told us what animals were sitting by us, and you got jelly again there too? Because
you got jelly and me because you got some cute little kitten thing, which was like what? And I got the cobra.
Oh, do you remember? I don't remember what I got.
I was like, cobra? What? I'm a cobra? I was like, it didn't make any sense. It's like cobra. And Dad got like the lion, like the lion's gate. And it was we got these really, like, you're
man.
Unless they got these playful kitten things. I was like, it was really funny.
You needed
no,
some
but when
softness.
my eye, I saw, it was our mom's eye. You know,
I do remember that.
It was
There we go.
Beatrice's eye. It was like there, and she was
awesome.
blinking, and it was like
Wow.
looking, and we was like, "Hey, Mom, nice to show up. Hey, it's like, is this what it is? The third eye? It was her eye, her shape, her eye, lashes, everything.
I remember that.
Eyeshadow.
Okay, well, this episode isn't about us. We need to talk about.
I mean, I'm interested.
The human design.
Yeah, no, the cacao.
Beautiful.
I have to say, someone who's been down to South America, to Machu Picchu and to Brazil,
Beautiful.
and being learning from the Kiro, where you are really connected to the plant medicine. And I don't mean the ayahuascas. There's so much more to plant medicine than just the psychedelics. It's the healing properties of them, the vibrational properties of them, and so the cacao is one of those that is revered, sacral,
Super sacred.
and really I feel like it's more of a loving space and not necessarily. And the psychedelics can be teaching, but this is teaching in a very soft and gentle way. And yet in that soft and gentle way, it can be explosive.
Yeah, wow. So well said. Yes.
Thank you.
Very well
I had
said.
a moment.
You did. You totally channeled.
And Leslie, it's time for our stretch now.
Well, did you want any closing
yeah,
remarks on the cacao ceremony after?
I can't wait to get down to South America as well and experience it. And Keys has a beautiful setup on the lake in Guatemala, and they hold it a ritual or a retreat and a ritual every spring for practitioners. So I'm very excited to have that layer of experiencing with it. And thank you for sharing your reflections. It's so cool. So cool to see how cacao works with everybody's body differently.
Okay. So it's time on this podcast for our soulful stretch. And a soulful stretch is something where we've stretched our minds, changed a belief, altered a perspective, just something that stretches you from where you started this conversation half an hour, 40 minutes ago. So for me, I think I need to punt first. I need to think about it. So
I know. I did just spark it on as I see our time.
I think I can go. I think I can go. So I think for me, I'm actually excited about human design. It's one of the few, not that I've done all these modalities, because we have over 100. I know I can at least list over 125.
The ultimate energetic self-care
energetic self-guide that you can find on SoulShape.app.
Yeah.
But, I think for me, human design isn't a modality that I tried. But now I'm actually really interested. So I've actually changed my perspective, and that, perhaps I'll be booking with you shortly. Yeah. So I think that's my soulful stretch is to perhaps venture into human design.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I got because I've had my human design done before, and it was long ago, and so I forgot about a lot of things. But so it was nice to get reminders. But it was also like that reminder of like not just your birth date, but your what's it called? Your soul
birthday.
Soul birthday.
Yeah.
It just like, I don't know, that just opens up a whole nother window of possibilities and like just more exploration to like learn more about myself. So I'm excited about, diving into that more.
It's beautiful.
I want to know more about my soul birthday.
That's beautiful.
All right, you're up.
I'm up?
What's your stretch?
Is this like a quick fire thing or?
It is a little bit.
Yeah,
Do you need a minute? We can stall
No,
for a second.
I have something. I have a few things. Okay, so one thing about me is that I love expansion. That if I come into the space, that's kind of the energy that I bring. And that's the energy I live with every day. So I'm like, what is expanding me? How am I sharpening my sword? And so it's always several things all at once, which is very Manny Jen of me. But one of the most beautiful expressions I've started to venture into is the goddess yoga. Yeah. And I recently got certified in goddess yoga. And it was just one of those things where after the first class, and I very rarely have ever done this, but I took the first class and I just knew. I was like, yeah, sign me up. There happened to be a teacher training that weekend. the first one ever in Wilmington. It was so divine, the synchronicities. And I really came into the practice. It's a Hawaiian belly dancing inspired flow mixed with very simple yoga poses. There's also an element of ritual, an element of connecting with your sisters. It's very sacred, feminine energy. So it's all girls, which I had also, that was a new thing for me to really feel the power of, because with my cacao circles, anyone is welcome, man, woman, even children. We have some younger, some teens in there. So the goddess yoga, I really have started to feel in my own self through some very specific somatic movements. You unlock trauma, you unlock your power, you move through things, but only through the element of dance and music and moving your body. Wow. So it's been a really beautiful stretch for me, because I came from a background of kind of abusing my body and over-exercising and, limiting my calories and counting everything. And there's a whole nother episode with that, but it was... My healing journey with that was letting all of that go and just letting my body do whatever it wanted to do and not focusing on training it or overtraining it, because I had that tendency to become obsessive. So now finding goddess yoga has been such a beautiful expression to see the power of my body and the power of other women's bodies and what we can move through it. I think that's what I was trying to get to a long time ago. And I just kind of went down the masculine abuse it route, kind of overdoing it. So now it's cool to come back to it and have a whole new approach.
That's lovely.
So that's a good stretch.
Yeah, good little,
good bendy girl.
Yeah,
girl.
bendy. Well, thank you so much, Christina, the blonde priestess. Thank you. Thank you, Signal Fire Media, and to all of our listeners. We want you to like, follow, and subscribe to the SoulShape Podcast. We believe wellness starts within, and unlocking unlimited possibilities with energetic healing, all available to you on the SoulShape app. Visit us, check it out, embrace that woo, dabble, dive, or discover your next healing experience. All links available in the show notes, and we hope you've enjoyed this soulful stretch and conversation here on the SoulShape Podcast. Thank you and goodbye.
We need to remind people to like and subscribe.
I did. Didn't I do it, Rob? I already did it.
You did it? Okay, sorry.
Big sister.
I was probably big sisters.
Remind me.
Okay,
I did it,
we'll just say
Mom.
goodnight. Or goodbye.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.